Today's webinar is all about building your ML research profile, and today I will cover the following points: how you should transition from ML. It doesn't matter which domain you're from, you can still transition to the field of machine learning. If not fully transition, you can add a bit of machine learning experience to your profile to either upscale in your job by adding a relevant experience in your resume, or you can even get good admits from graduate schools by adding a good ML experience to your profile. Okay, so I'm going to tell you by demonstrating a live example of one of our co-founders, Dr. Raj. I'm going to take his live case study and I'm going to explain to you how you can achieve that. Then I'm going to talk about how to write your first research paper in the field of machine learning. In this point, I will be talking about how to write a research paper if you're completely new to research, and it doesn't matter which field of study you're from, you can still write a research paper in the field of machine learning. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the scientific ML bootcamp and how we've been certified by the Julia Computing also. And then at the end, if time permits, we will be taking a few questions at the end. Okay, if you have any questions during the course of this webinar, we are muting you, but then you can post your questions in chat and we'll do our best to answer them. Even during any point of the webinar, you feel that it's too fast paced or you're not able to follow it, we will be posting a recording on our YouTube channel, so you can view it at any time, in any point of time, whenever you want. Okay, so then that's about it. If you're attending Videsh's webinar for the first time, let me give you a quick a heads up about what we do, what our mission is. So Videsh is founded by three co-founders, Dr. Raj, Dr. Rajat, and Dr. Sridhar. And these are award-winning scientists and researchers from IIT Madras, MIT, and the Purdue University in the US. Okay, so during their time there, they really found out that research was very much underrated by the time they were pursuing their graduate studies, and when they went to pursue their PhDs, they realized the importance of research. And that is when they became so passionate about helping students and working professionals like yourselves to really elevate your research profile, because they realize that that is something that really gets you into those top universities or gets you those coveted jobs that everyone is so much searching for. So that with that aim in mind, Videsh was founded, and it is simply our mission now to basically help you land your dream university. Before I take you through the agenda of the webinar today, I just want to circulate a form which will basically contain which domain you're from, so that we can have an idea about the participants field of interest and the field of study that they're coming from. Okay, so I will come back to the form during my later slides, so that it is basically a reference for us to know how diverse the entire the participants are. Okay, so we are sharing the form in the chat, so please fill up the form and type your responses in there, and then we'll get back to it later on. Like I said, let's get started with today's agenda. Today's first part of the webinar is going to be a live case study of our co-founder, Dr. Raj. I'll tell you a bit about his background. Dr. Raj is a mechanical engineer from IIT Madras. When he graduated out of IIT, he wanted to apply to MIT to pursue a PhD in mechanical engineering. Okay, so he applied during that time, and he even got to MIT with a fully funded scholarship as well. And then at MIT, during his first or second year, he happened to attend a career fair where he was just to get a feel of it. He was in his first or second year, he was very new to the entire system. He just wanted to get a feel of what kind of jobs are there in the market. And so he went to that career fair, and that is when he realized that there are a lot of opportunities in the field of machine learning. And this is, I'm talking about 2019. Okay, so 6 years back. and machine learning was a very new field and a very new concept back then. And there were a lot of opportunities in this area and a lot of jobs, obviously, because recruiters were looking for people who had knowledge in machine learning. And at that time, there was not much awareness about this field, and comparatively there were less number of jobs in the core sectors. Okay, so this is a big realization that and a big feeling that he had when he attended that career fair. And then he happened later to stumble upon a research group, basically, that was working in the field of machine learning at MIT. So he approached a professor there who was very intrigued by his interest in the field of machine learning, and who asked him a lot of questions about why he was so much interested in this particular field. And then he even encouraged him to take some of the classes and see if he actually likes that particular field. So he Raj eventually graduated as PhD in machine learning. So the rest is his history. I mean, he liked it so much and he was doing so well in it. He ended up publishing a lot of research papers in machine learning with over 400 plus citations. So the rest is really history. And by this story, I just want to emphasize on the fact that Dr. Raj is a mechanical engineer originally, and he got his PhD in the field of machine learning. So it doesn't matter which field you're from, and you can still transition or add that bit of experience of machine learning to your profile. Okay, so these are just some of the papers that Dr. Raj published that were very impactful during his study at MIT. And these papers got a lot of recognition. And if you see, both these papers are first author research papers. So he ended up publishing a lot of research papers in the field of machine learning, and the rest is history. So if you see, in this particular slide, the Sandia report, he even did some of the work that was very important for the US government at that point. So his profile really boomed during his transition to the field of machine learning, and he never looked back since then. And even today, and then going forward also, it's his passion, it's his mission to help students to transition to ML very smoothly and very successfully. Okay, so like I said, Dr. Raj was not a computer science engineer. He did not have any experience in data structures, algorithm courses, and he did not take any CS course in his undergrad also. So he was a core mechanical engineer, and but he still ended up getting a PhD in the field of machine learning. Okay, so this is just a slide that shows some of his work in machine learning, which was very, very impactful. He even ended up getting job offers at these prestigious firm like Facebook, Amazon, and Julia Computing. So how was all this possible for a mechanical engineer, and what were some of his major takeaways when he was switching from the field of mechanical engineering to the field of machine learning? So I will walk you through his main learnings and his main realizations that helped him basically to transition. Okay, so first and foremost learning is that the way machine learning is taught to beginners is not correct. Okay, so I will demonstrate now this with an example in my further slides. But then this is some of the major realization that he had, that the traditional ML courses do not provide that foundational base for a strong knowledge in machine learning. Okay, so this was one of his realizations. And the second realization was that if he can transition to machine learning, then anybody in any field can transition to the field of machine learning. Okay, so it doesn't you don't have to limit yourself to only mechanical engineering or even engineering for that matter. Even if you're in any domain, any field, you can still transition to the field of machine learning. Okay, and then the last realization is something that you should actually work upon, is that it doesn't help only if you add toy projects or projects that everybody does in your profile, that really does not help. And if you're applying for a job in machine learning, then the recruiters will see right through you. Even if when you're applying for your graduate schools and you add machine learning experience in your profile, in your SOP or in your resume, it has to be some substantiated with research work. Okay, so a research work is something that makes your experience in machine learning credible, and it just proves that you have not just gone through a series of theoretical knowledge, but you've had some practical hands-on experience with machine learning as well. And then you have a hands-on experience to machine learning as well. Okay, so this is, I think, the very important learning that he had, and something that you should also take that upon yourself to, if you want to transition into the field of machine learning, there is no better way than doing research, okay, than writing a research paper or doing research work. Okay, so that is something that will help you to smoothly transition. So I'll walk through the first problem with traditional ML courses, and this is just an overview of basically an example of how the courses are designed traditionally, in order to teach students into the basics of machine learning. Okay, so this is basically a document which is released by MIT. So this is a free course that is available on their website, and you can go to their website and you can search on the website, and this is free available. Okay, so I'll just walk you through the problem with this. Okay, so up till when they start with theories, so they start with linear algebra, probability review, and then they go to introduction to machine learning, then linear classifiers, and then they go to the projects. So the real problem is with the hands-on projects. Okay, so if you see, the first project is the automatic review analyzer. The second project is collaborative filtering. The third project is the digit recognition, and we even have sentiment analysis, text based game. We have collaborative filtering as well. So these 4 or 5 projects do not really coincide with any of your domains, right? So if you look at these projects, this is what it is. Okay, so automatic review analyzer will basically analyze the top rated movies based on the reviews. This is the digit recognition project. This is a sentiment analysis game, and this is the collaborative filtering for Netflix movie recommendations. So it doesn't matter which field you're from, none of these projects are actually colliding with any of your fields, right? And this is the free course released by top universities like MIT. So now you see what the problem is with the traditional ML courses. Okay, till the theory part everything is fine. The students get through with the theory, but then the theory is not something that will impart practical knowledge to the students, and that is not something you can put in your resume, or you can add to your SOP. So it doesn't really have any kind of value. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that these particular projects don't have any value when you're adding them to your resume. Okay, so that is what I've summarized in this slide, that these projects don't show how to combine ML with domain specific knowledge. None of your domains, I'm sure, are coinciding with any of these projects. Okay, and then publishing research papers using these toy projects is not really going to even relate to your domains. Okay, so what we aim at doing is that we aim to help the students by writing research papers, by combining their domains with the knowledge of machine learning. So we aim to write and publish a research paper which is at the intersection of machine learning and your domain knowledge. So topic selection also for a research paper is done in such a way that it pertains to your domain also, and then it also takes care of the machine learning part. Okay, so it is something that you will also have fun learning. You will also get practical hands-on knowledge while you are writing a research paper, and it will also be relevant. Okay, so I think relevance is something that is not there in the traditional ML courses when they are looking at projects, right? And then the main focus is that, right, without leaving your main field, you should be able to integrate machine learning into your existing domain, because that is going to make your profile more powerful. It's not important for you to based do a research paper based on these toy projects. Okay, it's not going to relate to your profile, and it's not even going to elevate your profile. So what is really going to strengthen your profile is by combining your domain knowledge into the field of machine learning, and then writing a research paper in at the intersection of these both fields. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a series of examples of how these projects can be, and something that will help you visualize what I'm talking about. So what does it mean when I say that you can intersect your domain knowledge with the field of machine learning? Okay, so this is a paper written in how to use ML to model COVID-19 infections in all regions of the world. So this is a paper Dr. Raj was working in 2019. Like I said, he transitioned in 2019-20, and that was the time COVID hit. So that particular project was very, very important, and this particular paper was very important and is really close to his heart. At that time it was very, very impactful. Okay, and this is also something that you should target upon doing, that something that really makes an impact, but then also combines it with the knowledge of machine learning. And then if you're a chemical engineer, maybe you can choose a topic of how you can recover a chemical reaction equation from data alone using machine learning. So this is something you can do. And then also you can look at this project where the title of the project is using ML to predict black hole analysis. So this is another example. And then if you're an economist, if you're in the economics field, you can select a paper which is titled maybe using ML to predict economic market forces like supply and demand. So this field can be extremely creative, because your domain best. And we help you to select topics in such a way that it even uses your areas of interest, it uses your strengths, and then we combine it beautifully with machine learning, and then it produces a beautiful research paper. Okay, so that is the whole idea behind the different papers and different topics that I'm trying to show you. Okay, so if you are into biochemistry or biology, you can do something like using ML for biochemistry, or using ML to analyze fluid mechanics, climate problems, etc. Okay, so these are just a few examples of how you can write a research paper in this field, right? And then what this will help you doing? Okay, so this will give you a very practical, basic, hands-on knowledge in the field of machine learning, and then your foundations will be very, very strong. Okay, so you will have built very strong foundations in the field of machine learning when you actually work on something, right? And then you can do independent research in your field of study also, and then you can write and publish the papers in top journals. So I mean, sky is the limit. Okay, so if your foundation in machine learning is really very strong, what you can do and what you can achieve, I think, is very clear from the live case study of Dr. Raj that I just showed you. And then like even I said, okay, even if you're working professionals, you can add all these projects and research papers to your resume. And I'm sure, because these projects are not done by everybody in the world, not everybody is doing these projects. People are just adding ML courses and toy projects to their resumes, okay, and updating their resumes. But then if you include these projects or these research papers in your resume, you will have created a very strong impact on the recruiter about your knowledge in the field of machine learning. And then even when you're giving these interviews in software companies also, or a company specializing in machine learning also, you will be very confident when you give those interviews, because you will actually have foundational knowledge in that field. Okay, so it will help you a lot. So like I said, this will also elevate your profile by 5 times. It will be 5 times better. Your profile will be very, very strong if you use these research papers, or if you work on these research papers that actually combine your domain knowledge with the field of machine learning. And then like I said, it doesn't matter which field you're from, everybody and anybody can transition to the field of machine learning or can add a valid machine learning experience to their profile. Okay, I've just listed a few branches here and there. These branches basically are of the students that we have in our scientific ML boot camps, and they have successfully transitioned to the field of machine learning. Okay, so you don't need to have a CS background for that. You can still transition to the field of ML. So I'm just now going to show if you are at a beginner level and if you are very very new to machine learning, we have a list on Vizuara, our channel. So I'm just going to take you through it. So this is basically a list of resources that will help you to transition to the field of ML. Okay, and you can start by Vizuara ML Teach by Doing. This is the first series that you can basically dedicate a good time of the day, and then you can begin studying this particular series. And you should then, after you complete this particular series, what you should do is you should do then Vizuara neural networks from scratch, and then Vizuara decision trees from scratch. So this is how exactly you should begin if you're completely new to the field of ML. But then I want to highlight a very important point here, that if you look at the number of views on the first lecture, and if you look at the number of views from the second lecture onwards, you see that the number of views are drastically dropping. Okay, so what does this show? This shows a lack of consistency and a lack of discipline on the students part. Okay, so it's very common for students to be very enthusiastic and excited about machine learning when they are first listening to the first lecture of the lecture series. But then when the first lecture finishes, the excitement fades down, and then if you don't follow a particular regimen, a particular discipline, and if you don't have enough patience, then you don't end up listening to or studying rest of the lectures also. So it's very important that you allot a particular time in the day for studying this series. And this series is completely free. You can go in and check out on the YouTube channel, and you can start from today itself if you're a complete beginner. Okay, so this is something that I would encourage you to start with when if you're new, completely new and complete beginner to the field of machine learning. Okay, so yes, when I talk about getting started with the list of resources, that this is something that you should start with. And this is a lecture series prepared by our co-founders, so they've put a lot of time, effort and energy into preparing all of these lecture series for free. Okay, so you can access it on the YouTube channel. And but please be dedicated and please be very disciplined. Okay, so whenever you're going in and planning to do the lecture series, be very very focused and disciplined about it. Okay, so now we come to the second point of the webinar today, that is writing a research paper in the field of machine learning. So if you remember the 5 or 6 research papers that I just showed you right now, I'm just going to show you how these papers are written. So if you're completely new to the field of research paper or writing a research paper, then this section of the webinar is very very useful for you. So now we are first going to look at a paper outline. So the actual paper consists of these 12 parts, but then the paper outline basically forms the skeleton of your research paper. And it consists of the title, abstract, introduction, tables and figures. Okay, so these 5 points constitute of a paper outline. And once you have your paper outline ready, you can then convert it into an entire manuscript, and the rest of the points mentioned in this list, you can then go on and then you can develop these parts also. So okay, so it's very important to have this kind of mental preparation when you're starting to write a research paper, because it's very important for you to have, first of all, faith in yourself. Because like I said, most students start strong, but then during some point of in their research journey, the confidence becomes very the patience dies down, the excitement fizzles out, and it just gets reduced to a bunch of incomplete work. Okay, Okay, so make sure that doesn't happen. And whenever you start writing a research paper, make sure that you have full determination, patience, and a lot of grit. Okay, you will have two choices to choose your paper template from. The first choice is the MS Word template. This is a very commonly used, so basically Microsoft Word document. So this is a template that they've designed for writing a paper. And then this is basically another option is an overleaf template. So overleaf is a document which converts your text into latex document, and it makes your research paper look extremely professional without you having to code or do any kind of coding or anything from the back end. It just requires you to edit your text, and then overleaf automatically converts your text into the right font, right size. Okay, so overleaf is a beautiful way to write a research paper, and you can go in and search how you can use overleaf to write your paper. We at Videsh, we recommend students to use overleaf to write a research paper. Okay, so these are some of the templates that you can use. First part of the paper outline is the title and the abstract. So let's start with the title first. Okay, so title basically is a 12 to 13 word insight into your entire paper, and it basically gives you by looking at the title, the reader should be able to understand what the paper is about. Okay, so if you look at this title, modeling chaotic Lorentz ODE system using scientific ML, so this perfectly tells the reader what this paper is going to be about, and that is how your title should be designed. Okay, so it should not be more than 12 to 13 words, and it should be not too long and not too short, right? Now the abstract is basically a 200 to 300 word essay, and for your ease of understanding, we have broken down the abstract into 4 different parts. Okay, so I'll take you through each of these 4 parts. So the first part is a large scale problem. Okay, so this you are defining a large scale problem in this part of your abstract, and this large scale problem will be for a wider audience. So for example, you can look at the description that I've given on the left, and this is basically, this gives you an insight into what your paper is going to be about and what is the large scale problem. Okay, and points 2 and 3 are the specific challenge and the specific metrics and the details of your approach. Okay, so basically points 2 and 3 are very, very specific, and they are catered for audience who are experts in that particular field. Okay, so they are basically they imply to a smaller audience and to the experts in that particular field. And then the fourth point again gives you the wider implications of the problem. Okay, so this again implies to a larger audience, and for your ease of understanding, we call the abstract as a hourglass approach. So basically, when you write an abstract, I want you to think about an hourglass where point 1 and 4 are for a wider audience, and point 2 and 3 are they cater to the specific and specifics of the particular problem, and they are for basically the experts in that particular field. Okay, so I would first suggest to write a point-wise abstract first, and then we can at the end of writing the paper outline, you can then convert it into an essay. Okay, so in a very specific way, mention 1, 2, 3, 4 as the bullet pointed version of your abstract, and then we will expand it later on. Okay, so this is basically the abstract. Now we move to the introduction section, and the introduction section is basically 1,000 to 1,500 word essay, and it basically tells about the significance of your paper, right? So it's the most important part of the paper, and it basically focuses a lot on novelty of the results. Okay, so if you look at the 5 points that we have broken down the introduction into, you can see that the first point focuses on what is the problem. Okay, so even when you're writing about the introduction, don't think about you have to write this 1,500 word essay and then you have to expand it or change it. You just focus on writing these 5 pointers as a bullet pointed form, and then we will expand it later on. Okay, so same concept like the abstract. The first point focuses on what is the problem. Okay, so what is the problem statement basically. The second point focuses on how are people trying to solve this. Third point will focus on what are the issues with the current approaches. The fourth point will is it now this point is extremely important, and this focuses on the novelty of your research paper. Okay, so it is very important that you focus a lot on the fourth point, that what is your proposal and what do you propose, what is novel in your paper, and then large scale implications of your solution. So point 4 and point 5 cater completely to the novelty aspect in your paper, right? So write a bullet pointed version of this introduction also, and then we will look at expanding it later on. Okay, now the fourth point in the paper outline is the figures, right? So the figures basically are a visual insight into your research paper, and they basically tell the reader how impactful your research paper is just by looking at the visuals. Okay, because visuals are very, very impactful, and when you are looking at the figures in the research paper, it is very important that your first figure is connected to the next, and and so on. Okay, so it's very important that the figures itself form a story in your research paper, and they are beautifully connected, because a paper that has good figures and well connected figures has a very good chance of getting published. Okay, so basically, I will tell you about these 6 points that you need to remember when you are inserting or drawing figures into your research paper. The first thing is a very high resolution. Okay, so your figures should have a very high resolution. The second point is a legible axis. So legible axis and labels, and then a consistent choice of colors, font family, and font size, and then incredibly well aligned subfigures and subfigure names. Okay, I'll show you an example later on where how what I mean by correct font size, correct font family, and then consistent choice of colors also, and then labeling every figure and every subfigure, and then of course titles, legends, and subfigure numbers, and size and colors of markers. Okay, so these 6 points are very important and very, very impactful. They may seem easy when I'm explaining them, but even if one point is not followed when the reader is looking at your figures, it creates a very bad impression, because visuals matter a lot. Okay, so you can either create your figures using Canva or Adobe Illustrator, or you can use the traditional methods like Excel or PPT, right? Now, this is just a sample figure, that I have demonstrated for you, where the figure has a number, title, subfigure description also, and the subfigure number also. Okay, so it is beautifully labeled. There is consistent choice of colors. The axes are labeled consistent, and you can see the legends also. Okay, so this is what I mean when I try to tell you that all the 6 points that I mentioned before need to be followed. Okay. And then you can create your figures in overleaf as well. Okay, so you can even insert figures through the overleaf software that I mentioned earlier. Now we move on to another important point in the paper outline, that is the tables. Okay, so like the figures, tables also have a very, very high visual impact on the reader, because like the figure, they also present something which is not exactly a figure or a diagram, but then it is in table form, and that immediately catches the attention of the reader. Okay, so if there is anything in your research paper that can be replaced by a table, if there is any text that you can replace with a table, then you should definitely go ahead and replace it with a table. Okay, but then again, like I said, the font size, font family should be consistent. You should label every table and every sub table, and you should label the sub table number also, and then you should label the sub table also. Okay, so it is very, very important that every table, every sub table is labeled. Okay, again, you can insert tables in overleaf as well, so you can insert both tables and figures in overleaf, right? Now, this is another important point that is very important whenever you're doing literature study. Before you begin writing a research paper, you will do a literature study, right? And that is when you will realize that you will use a lot of references during your literature study in your introduction also. So whenever you're writing this 5 point introduction, I will encourage you to keep on adding the references as a bullet pointed version during the writing of your introduction itself. Okay, so what it helps with is that you have the bullet pointed references already ready, and then this is another section in your basically in your research paper that is titled references, and here you have to mention all the references that you've used for writing your research paper. So yeah, like I said, you can write all the references in your bullet pointed introduction section. Okay. So yes, when I say the paper outline, it will consist of the following parts. So this is the first is the title, second is the abstract, third is the bullet pointed introduction with references, fourth and fifth are the tables and figures. Okay, so this ensures that the skeleton of your research paper is ready, and then you will further move on to add other sections like conclusion, acknowledgements, etc., which are comparatively more simple to write than the outline. Okay, I'll just take you through the acknowledgement section also, because that is also something that is, whenever you do your literature study, you will understand and you will know what you have to write in the acknowledgement section. It is a very simple, short section. And as an example, I've shown you the acknowledgement section written by one of our students in our, boot camp. So this is just an example, and then you can write your own acknowledgement section later on. Okay. So now we are at a point where we want to convert the bullet pointed introduction into a full version. Okay. So a full essay of 1,000 to 1,500 words. And how do we convert it? So, we write paragraphs about, each and every point. So introduction section, if you remember, has 5 points. And, each point is to be, converted into a paragraph. Okay. And we strongly suggest not to use any writing tools or chat gpt for expanding this bullet pointed version or condensing it, or using whatever, for whatever reasons, don't use any of these tools, because many of the reviewers now have a detection system, and if anything gets detected, it might lead to a direct rejection of your paper. Okay. And so we can't afford to do that after working so hard on the research paper. So please refrain from using any writing tools or chat gpts. So next we move on to the conclusion section of the research paper, and this is again a 200 to 300 word essay like the abstract, and basically it focuses on the takeaways of your paper. Okay, so in this section, you just have to quickly summarize the paper, and you have to just mention what are your key takeaways. Okay, so you can write this section at the end also, whenever you're writing the entire manuscript. It is a very simple section comparatively compared to the rest of the sections, but then all you have to remember is you have to keep it simple, you have to mention key takeaways, and you have to quickly summarize the paper. All right. And then you then move to write the entire paper manuscript. Okay, so before that, if you have any supplementary materials that you want to add in the paper, you can do that. Now this is that he had written, and he wanted to mention he was not able to add everything in the references section. So what he did was he basically mentioned to add in your supplementary material section. You can keep adding it. Okay, and if there's nothing that you want to add, that's completely fine. This section is optional. I just want to now take you through some of the writing styles and the writing mistakes people make writing paper. Okay, so it's very important that you know which writing style to use, and which past or present tense to use, and then which mistakes students make while actually writing the paper. Okay, so it may seem very simple, but then keep this in mind whenever you're writing a paper. Okay, so first is the active and passive style. Okay, so passive style will look something like this. The imaging was performed using SEM. Okay, so the passive style will make the reader feel that you're not actually doing the experiment, you're not actually deriving the results, and you're observing something that somebody else is doing. Okay, so this does not really connect you as a paper. But an active style looks something like this. We perform the imaging using SEM. So active style basically tells the reader that you are actively involved in writing the paper, and that is how you want it to be. Okay, so it is very important that you maintain an active style when you're writing a paper. Okay, so this is something that I want you to remember when you're looking at both active and passive voice. Okay, now the next is the past and present tense. Okay, so a lot of students get confused between which tense to use for which section. So okay, so you can use the present tense for analysis and conclusions, and past tense for experiments conducted. Okay, so this is like a rule of thumb that you can follow for writing a research paper, and something that you can use as a rule of thumb. Then last but not the least, I come to grammar and spelling mistakes, which no at this age where we have things like Grammarly plugin. So Grammarly basically has paid and free versions. You're free to use either version, whichever you prefer. And spelling mistakes are also a complete no. Okay, so make sure that you don't make any spelling mistakes. And when you are done with writing your paper manuscript, make sure to take a printout of the manuscript, and then take a highlighter in your hand, and then be your own critic. Okay, write and read every word, every sentence that you've written, and then highlight if there are any errors. Okay, if there are any spelling mistakes, any tense mistakes, any passive or active style mistakes that you find. Okay, so be and go through the complete 2018 page document. Okay, so that is very, very important before you submit the next submit. So this is also a very, very important point, and there are factors upon which we select a journal to which we want to submit our papers, and generally these journals are selected based upon taking references from other research papers that have already been submitted in the same field that you have written your research paper in. Okay, so it's like literally impossible that you're writing a paper on something that is completely novel and nobody ever has written a research paper in that field. Okay, so that's not possible, and you're always going to find references of other authors who submitted similar work to your work to some journal. Okay, so then like I said, there are many such journals available, and you need to select the correct journal for submission. Okay, so how do you select this particular journal? Okay, so there are two things how you should select a journal. First is the impact factor. So impact factor basically measures the quality of the journal, and it basically is measured on the number of citations that a particular journal has. Okay, so an impact factor of 1 to 3 is considered normal for first timers when they submit their papers. So that is considered a good enough journal when you submit to a journal with an impact factor of 1 to 3. Okay, so whenever you're selecting a journal, I would suggest you to make a table with the journal name or the leftmost column, and next to it a column with an impact factor heading, and the next column will be the cost of publishing. Okay, so whether or not your paper gets accepted or rejected by any particular journal, it's mandatory that you submit that you pay a publishing fee. Okay, So this fee can range anywhere from $1,000 to $12,000, $10,000. And a few journals also, there are conferences also, to which you can submit, where there is no cost of submission. But then if your paper gets selected in that particular conference, you will have to go and attend that particular conference. So there is this cost of attending, cost of travel, and cost of stay that you will have to incur on your behalf. Okay, so that is another option you can choose if you want to, if you don't want to opt for journal but you want to apply opt for conferences. Okay, so that is also something that our students do in a few cases. Okay, and that is something that we encourage the students that you should submit in this particular conference. This particular conference is coming up on this date, and then you should submit your paper in this particular conference or journal. Okay, so this is how you should select your journals or conferences whenever you're done with the research paper and you're thinking about submissions. Now I come to the third part of the webinar, that is the Scientific ML Bootcamp. Now, first, before I dive in this particular program, I want to show you a LinkedIn post that Dr. Raj had posted a few days back, that Julia Hub is now the official partner of our Scientific ML Bootcamp. Okay, so if you are a part of this boot camp, you will be certified by Julia Hub as well. Okay, so it is a prestigious achievement for us, and we have collaborated with Julia Hub, and now they will be handing out certificates to students who will be completing the Scientific ML boot camp organized by us. Okay, so there are a few success stories also, that one paper got accepted to NeurIPS workshop in 2024. 4 papers got accepted into JuliaCon 2025, and 7 papers got accepted to MSML 2025. So these 3 conferences and workshops are very, very prestigious in the field of machine learning. And we have mentored more than 100 students till now, and the quality and the content of this program is so unique that even Julia Hub has agreed to certify students who have completed this program successfully. Okay, so an industry certification with organization like Julia Hub changes a lot of things, and it immediately even it elevates the profile of our students who are completing the boot camp. Okay, I think if you add this certification to your profile, it will mean a lot for recruiters out there, for the graduate admissions committee out there. And then this is, I think, a big achievement. When you complete our Scientific ML boot camp, you won't just get a foundational knowledge of machine learning, you won't just have published a paper in the field of ML, but you will also be certified by Julia Hub. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this before I move on to the Scientific ML Bootcamp. Okay, I'll just take you through the website and show you the details of our bootcamp, so that if you're interested in the bootcamp, you can get in touch with us, and you will be personally mentored by our co-founders, and majorly by Dr. Raj, who has a PhD in this field and who is a complete expert in the field of machine learning. Okay, so so Scientific ML Bootcamp basically has 4 plans. The first plan is the student plan, and this plan has a set of pre-recorded videos, and code files and homework assignments, and it also includes 2 projects that you will be doing hands-on. And these are not just toy projects, these are projects that you will be actually doing. Okay, so the first project is the COVID-19 modeling project, and the second project is the black hole visualization project. Okay, so these 2 projects are extremely valuable, and the student plan is completely self-paced, and you will get a complete access to first of all, it will start with the basics of machine learning, then Julia computing, then differential equations, ML basics. So this is a self-paced program, and it will give you an lifetime access of all these videos that are curated by our co-founders specifically for students and working professionals who are new to machine learning. And then you will also get an access to all the code files and homework assignments also. Okay, but then there will be no personalized guidance during the student plan. Okay, The next plan is the community plan, where in addition, so this is an extension to the student plan, where there will be personalized guidance from our co-founders, to these lectures and homework assignments and the videos. Okay, so if you're facing any kind of roadblock during your journey with all these videos, you can send out a mail to us, and then our co-founders will be very very happy to guide you. Okay, and then by the community plan, I also mean that you will be connected to a community or of other people who have enrolled in the scientific ML bootcamp. So we have a Discord channel for connecting all our students. So all the students are directly connected there, and they can interact with each other. So this basically is a community plan that allows you access to your peers, as well as personalized feedback and guidance from our co-founders. Then we have our most popular plan, that is the researcher plan. So this researcher bootcamp is an extension of the community plan in such a way that it has all the elements of the community plan, but then it also adds another very beautiful feature, that is writing a research paper in the field of machine learning and your domain. Okay, so like the example that I showed you in the slide previously of 6-7 research papers that were written in different topics and were combined with machine learning. So we will select a specific topic for you in your domain, and then we will use machine learning to write a very good paper and submit it to a very good journal. Okay, so this is something that we will aim to do with this particular plan. And at the end of this plan, you will have written a research paper, and you will have submitted a research paper to a very good journal or conference. Okay, so and the next plan is the industry professional plan, where it is an extension of the researcher plan, but it is more, it caters towards working professionals more, who are dealing with actual who have industry experience also. And the topics that we will choose in this particular plan are very much focused on the industry. Okay, so we will cater to different problems that the industry is facing based on your work experience and the kind of experience you want to add in your profile, and then we will proceed in the similar way. Okay, so in the LinkedIn post that I just showed you, one paper got accepted to NeurIPS workshop, 4 papers got accepted to Julia Con, and 7 papers to MSML. All these students were either enrolled for the researcher plan or the scientific ML industry professional plan. Okay, so these two plans basically focus on writing a research paper in the field of machine learning, right? So these are the four plans in our boot camp, and all the students ranging from any field can definitely join in this plan. And then depending upon your requirement, and depending upon your profile, we can guide you on which particular plan is best suitable for you. Okay, and then you can go ahead with that plan. And if you're not sure which plan to choose, obviously you can get in touch with us, and our co-founders will guide you in the perfect way. Okay, and this is the curriculum which is also available on the program website, and you can go through this curriculum, and you can see it is just basically everything that I just explained to you now. And then some sample projects, like I said, you can do these projects, and you can even add these projects to your CV. So basically you can publish papers like this, and then it will obviously help to elevate your profile by a lot of times. Okay, so if your paper gets accepted into one of a journal or conference, a very prestigious conference or journal, then the impact that it is going to have on your profile is tremendous. Okay, so these are some of the scientific research projects that we have done with our students, and a lot of other students also. Different plans to choose from. I just showed you the list of different plans. A few testimonials now. Like I said, being we are recently even certified by Julia Hub. Okay, so obviously students are very happy with the quality of content that is being taught and administered in the scientific ML bootcamp, because it is directly mentored by our co-founders who are experts in that particular field, right? And then we will help you with the following. We will help you to select a problem in such a way that it coincides with your domain, your area of interest, and machine learning. Okay, So we help you to implement domain specific real life hands on projects. You will learn how to convert ML projects into research publications, and then you will be able to add everything, all of this in your profile. Okay. Now, this is just a glimpse of, life at MIT. One of our co-founders, Dr. Sridhar's experience, a lot of culturally, diverse and, academically diverse experience is available to you when you get admits from, few of these top universities. So the experience is really enlightening. And this picture is just to, show you how inspiring and how motivating this entire journey is. Okay. Now, I come to the end of the webinar, and we have our co-founders, Dr. Raj and Dr. Rajat, with us. And before I hand it over to them, I just want to mention that if you're interested to know more about the Scientific ML Bootcamp, or even if you're not sure which of these four plans would work best for you, you can get in touch with us at hello@livedesh.com with your details and your ambitions, your career aspirations, so that we can guide you through which program would suit you best. And now we have, I think, 4 minutes in which Dr. Raj and Dr. Rajat will take a few questions here and there. And if I can also request one of them to share the form, of, that you've submitted, so that, we can know that how diverse is the crowd that we have here. And so that's it from my end. I'm stopping my screen share, and over to you, Dr. Raj and Dr. Rajat.
Yes, thank you, Radhika, for the excellent webinar. I will take a bunch of questions. Some students have messaged me personally also. So the objective of today's webinar was to help you understand how you can build your research profile in the ML domain, and how to merge uh, the ML concepts with domain specific knowledge, and how to write your first research paper. And what we have seen is that instead of doing toy projects, if you are doing research project, it really elevates your profile. And whether you are applying for PhD, masters, or you are looking to get a job, it really helps you in all of these three aspects. Now, there were a few questions from students who were in the computer science department, and the questions were regarding if I'm in the CS field, then I do not have any core domain which is related to physical sciences or anything which has differential equations, then is scientific ML appropriate for me? So for CS students, firstly, the ordinary differential equations, which are at the heart of SciML problems, they are not very complex, and understanding and getting the ODE, uh, that is the extent of uh, the scientific structure or the understanding of the physics or the equations that you are going to need. After that, the bulk of the work, more than 80-90%, is training the neural network to match the data. So even though it looks like it's an intersection with the core field, with core sciences, CS students can really leverage their understanding about neural networks to solve these problems really well. And also there was a question about from a student who was working in an industry, and who wanted to solve some industry specific problems related to generative AI. So I'm sharing a link of the generative AI bootcamp also in the chat. Interested students who would like to pursue research in the domain of generative AI, where the objective is, let's say, to build a RAG system or use LLMs to understand the behavior of large language models or anything related to LLMs, then we have curated this bootcamp specifically for that purpose. So you can go through this link as well. Uh, yeah, I think we are almost. Yeah, as we can see from this form, which Dr. Raj has shared in the chat, almost 50% of the people in today's webinar were from computer science department, and we had a mix from all other departments as well. So the main outcome of today's webinar should be, if you are interested in ML, if you really want to build your career in this field, then you should definitely focus on writing your first research paper in this field, because that will really form a very strong foundation for the rest of your ML career. Okay, I think we have almost come to the end of the time. It's 8 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending the webinar. And we hope this is a starting point for all of you to build a great ML career, because this is the future. If you start building your profile right now, there will be a lot of wonderful opportunities ahead. All the best, everyone, and hope you create a good research profile in machine learning. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.